purpose of this video is just to kind of define what a distressed sale is and then give you some tips on how to handle a distressed sale of your home if you're trying to go at it alone. If you're already a subscriber to my page, welcome back, good to see you. If not, make sure you subscribe, like the videos below, and let me know if you have a comment or a question. So when I use the phrase distressed sale, I mean anybody who is having a stressful financial situation and is thinking of selling their home. It's not the same as having an underwater property. An underwater property is a very specific situation where you owe more on your mortgage than your home is worth. If that situation describes you, you need to be watching the short sale videos because you're going to be in a short sale situation for your sale. An underwater property is a type of distressed sale, but distressed sale literally just means what it means, which is you're stressed, you're having some sort of financial stress, but it doesn't necessarily relate to whether you can sell the home and receive money or whether you're in short sale territory. So I work with homeowners all the time who are either on the precipice of default or they're already in default and they need to in some way sell the home. And I'm just going to go through a few things that should be considerations of yours if you're trying to handle a distressed sale on your own. So the first thing to say is I understand how stressful it is. There are a lot of moving parts, even if you have equity in your home. So these are some things you should probably be aware of. Number one, you want to be aware of your foreclosure timeline. So if you're in the state of Washington, you're likely facing a non-judicial foreclosure, and you should watch the videos about the Washington foreclosure timeline. If you're in another state, you want to understand your state-specific foreclosure timeline, because if you're not paying on your mortgage, even if you know you want to sell your home, you want to understand what's coming down the path, what the timeline is, how fast can the lender foreclose, and what the notices are that you're going to be receiving telling you that the process has started. So have these conversations with an attorney in your state or with your lender to really try to understand what your timeline looks like. You then want to understand whether you have any protection options available to you. In Washington, we have a process under the Foreclosure Fairness Act called foreclosure mediation. If you want more information about that, there are videos on this page that can help you understand that, but other states have protections too. So you want to figure out if you wanted to extend your foreclosure timeline or if you wanted to protect yourself from foreclosure to the maximum extent to give yourself the most time possible to complete your sale. What does your foreclosure protection options look like? Do you have a mediation option in your state? And if so, how does that interact with your sale? You then want to pull a title report of your property. Even if you know you're going to sell the home in a couple months, you still want to be looking at a title report. And the reason for that being you want to understand everything that is attached to your home, meaning you want to understand all the creditors and all their different interests and everything that they have going on so that when you go to sell your home, you're not surprised by additional debt. Sometimes, especially if debt is very old or if something happened to you a long time ago, you may not always know all of the different creditors that have an interest in your home. So your very first step when you're thinking about going through a distressed sale is to just make sure you see a title report so that you understand everything that's owed. This will also help you because you'll be able to then estimate about how much money you'll be able to walk away from the home with. So if you see that you have a first mortgage holder and then you have like 2 credit card judgments attached, you can then reach out to those creditors, you can find out how much is owed, and then you'll be able to say, okay, when I sell my home, this is the total amount I need to pay off everybody, and this is how much I'll be receiving. So the number 3 most important thing after finding out your foreclosure timeline, whether there are any protections available to you, is to get a title report and see all the creditors that have an interest in your home. You then want to pull off a payoff statement for your mortgage or mortgages. So there's a video on this page about how to order a payoff statement and what a payoff statement is, but real generally, you want to find out how much is owed in total to pay off your mortgage if you're considering selling your home. And then that way, just like I said about the additional creditors, you can use that number to factor into your estimate of how much money you're going to walk away from the home with. Side note, if you're in a short sale situation, watch the short sale videos because you probably won't be walking away with any money. You'll probably be settling debt in that situation. But if you're selling and you have equity and you're in default, you want to pull your mortgage payoff statement so you know everything that's owed on your mortgage. Once you know your mortgage payoff and you've seen your title report, you then want to make a determination as to whether it would be beneficial for you to try to negotiate any of those liens or judgments attached to your home. So if you have your mortgage and then you see you have a few additional liens, you might consider talking to an attorney about whether it's possible for you to negotiate those down. Credit card liens that are stemming from old credit card debt oftentimes are very negotiable. So watch my videos related to lien negotiation And when you're considering this distressed sale situation, figure out whether it's worth it to hire somebody to see if they can negotiate those down, or try to negotiate them down yourself if that's something available to you. Different kinds of creditors have different chances of success with a negotiation. If you have an IRS tax lien or a state warrant or something like that, that's typically not negotiable, but you'll want to have that conversation with somebody so you understand what's available to you. And then you want to kind of build a selling timeline. Once you understand your foreclosure timeline and you understand your personal goals, like maybe you have kids that are trying to finish a school year, or maybe you want to move at a certain time of year for whatever reason, you then want to have a conversation with the real estate agent that is going to be selling your home to build your best listing timeline and your selling timeline. That real estate agent should be able to tell you, here's how long it will likely take to get a buyer. Here's what I believe you can recoup for your property. During that selling timeline, they'll be able to tell you if they think you should make any repairs to the home. They'll be able to tell you how those repairs will affect the value, and you'll be able to kind of create what I'm calling a selling timeline, which is figuring out when the home will go on the market, how long it will take to get a buyer, when you'd like to close, and then everything you need to do for the property before then. If you're in Washington State and you want some assistance with figuring out who a good real estate agent is, I have a couple interviews with some agents I work with frequently posted here. I can always help you with that, but many people know realtors who will help them. But partner with a realtor and start having a conversation about your selling time frame. Your realtor should have a good understanding of your foreclosure timeline. If it becomes clear to you that you are partnered with a realtor who doesn't understand the foreclosure timeline that you're facing, you want to get a new realtor, because selling in a default situation can get a little bit dicey if you get closer to foreclosure. So make sure your realtor knows everything that's going on. And then the last couple things I like to pay attention to when I'm trying to advise homeowners on how to do this distressed sale is make sure you have a good escrow agent, an escrow agent and an escrow company that has worked with homes that are in default before. There will be some additional things that they'll have to know to do. And so you'll want to have that conversation with your realtor. Your realtor is usually the person who picks your escrow agent, but have a meeting with everyone. Just make sure they understand where you're at, when you'd like to sell your home, and make sure that that escrow agent gives you what's called a settlement statement early on in the process. The settlement statement, it's also referred to as a HUD sometimes, is the statement that you'll receive at the close of your transaction, and it will list the purchase price of the property and then all of the fees and where all of the money is going. And that statement will tell you how much money you're going to walk away from. It'll have the purchase price at the top, it'll have all of the real estate fees that you have to pay as part of your closing, and it'll have the payoff numbers that go to your mortgage holder and to the subordinate creditors. And so for you to understand how much money you're going to have at the end of the distressed sale, you need to see that settlement statement, and you need to see it early in the process so you can plan for your money. So have a good real estate agent and tell that real estate agent that your expectation of the escrow agent is that they send you an estimated settlement statement as soon as possible so you can plan for your funds. If you need any help or have questions about your selling timeline, your foreclosure timeline, or how all of these different moving parts interacts and you're in the state of Washington, feel free to give me a call. Thanks.